Welcome. Today we're talking with Nancy May, President, CEO, and founder of BoardBench Companies, a woman-owned board governance consulting group. Nancy, welcome and thank you for joining us at today's Banker Digest.
Hey, Larry, thanks. And it's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Good. All right. Well, Nancy, in your consulting work, what do you see as the biggest challenges for bank boards?
Oh, God, there's so many right now. And we all know that we're going through a huge shift in what's going on in our economy. But the shift in bank boards, especially the sort of the medium and smaller bank boards, is really looking at what's happening in the economy. Of course, we sort of know that. But there's also a big shift in how the capital requirements are being set up for banks right now. And this could impact smaller banks big time. In fact, everybody listening here is probably already aware that the thresholds for those that are in the $100 billion range is actually increasing, where that range was really about 250 billion in assets. Now it's going down to the smaller institutions. And that's creating a lot of havoc as what's going on as well.
Great. Thank you, Nancy. So as you work with bank boards, what are the challenges that the bank board members need to contend with?
Well, the bank boards really also need to understand the role of governance and understanding more about what's not just compliance and risk issues, which are critical, but understanding the business of the institution. Because as I've said for years, and it's interesting to hear that so many people don't understand this, but the role of a business is to acquire and retain customers profitably. That goes for bank boards as well. And I think sometimes the boards and banks have gotten so tied up in risk and compliance issues that they forget what the business of the institution actually is.
Great. Thank you. So when you're talking with banks that are replacing or adding board members, what are the keys to successfully selecting those new board members?
Well, first and foremost, I hate to say this, but for those that have relied on the local accountant or the dentist or the real estate advisor out there because this is where they acquired customers, those days are gone. I suggest that you really understand that looking at the overall complexity of the business that you're dealing with, look at the complexity as it relates to competency and skills in those individuals that you're acquiring as new candidates. Also understand the ethics and morality of your customers, not your customers, but your bank board members, because how they behave in their normal life is going to impact how they behave in their business life. And that's key. And too often we really don't do the due diligence on that. And you'd be surprised what happens behind closed doors, whether at home or elsewhere, that can actually impact the business as well. But really understanding the complexity, the technology, the risks, the customers, and how that business is actually going to sustain itself over time is key.
Great. Thank you. So what are some of the things that you're looking for when you speak of doing the due diligence?
Oh, great question. So, due diligence goes well beyond what the resume or bio says. And I look for people who have actually worked directly with the individual, get them to relax, and get them to sort of, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, sort of reveal the dirty little secrets about the individuals that they know. I mean, one example is some background due diligence that I did on an individual for a financial institution. And it kept this one thing kept popping up quietly until it sort of exploded. And the individual had a great resume. He looked good. He was Mr. Joe America. He sold himself well. And then all of a sudden, there were multiple questions about I would say, the quality of decisions and the professional judgment that this individual had. Ultimately, his decisions and the judgment on what to do in several cases imploded major divisions of companies that he had worked for. And it didn't come out in his resume. Believe me, I coach individuals on how to get on board, so I kind of know how to spin doctor those ones. But if you're actually doing this due diligence yourself, you really need to know how to get people to reveal those backgrounds and why they happened. Critical.
Great, great. Nancy, thank you for spending time with today's Banker Digest. Your insights on the challenges facing board banks. Nancy, thank you for spending time with today's Banker Digest. Your insights on the challenges facing bank boards helps us better understand the importance of governance and the benefits of board members having experience in making those big strategic decisions. Again, thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Larry. It's been a pleasure. And I love your business and what you do. So thank you. It's a great asset to everybody here.
All right, thank you. So in closing, thank you for joining today's Banker Digest. If you have additional questions for Nancy, please see the link in her bio.